Alrighty, folks, we're now 3-0 in our last three NBA tier package picks on my premium site. And if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the side or the total in the Mavs T-Wolves game, you may want to think about signing up for my NBA package. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you had a great Memorial Day yesterday, great Memorial Day weekend. Of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these games on this video that I actually like the best, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Chairman package. Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, I'm 6-3 in my last 9 daily best plays, 7-2 in my last 9 underdog tier package picks. And finally, folks, once again, I'm 3-0 in my last 3 NBA tier package picks. And the good news is I have plays going off in all of those packages here today, and they're all included with your purchase of the Chairman membership. With that, folks, we're going to dive right into our free content here. Got a massive slate here today. Everybody's playing. We have a doubleheader, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Dodgers-Mets Game 1. That'll be a 4:10 Eastern first pitch. LA's minus $1.80, totals 8. Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. Tyler McGill for New York. And McGill's 0-2 already through a couple of appearances. He also comes into today's ball game with a 1.33 whip. And even if he does throw well here today, probably not going to get much run support. The Mets are being held to just 6.7 hits a game in Flushing, Queens. And we probably should see more of the same here today with Tyler Glasnow on the bump. The righty's 6-3 with an ERA of 3.09. Glasnow has also struck out 87 batters in just 67 innings of work. He currently has a stingy .91 whip. Now, Glasnow is also backed by a dangerous lineup of hitters. In addition to ranking in the top 3 in the league in hits per game while traveling, these Dodger sluggers are also averaging more walks per 9 than any other clubhouse in the league. Shohei Ohtani has an OPS in the thousands, batting average of .336. And Mookie Betts leads the clubhouse in hits. Now, injury-wise, Muncy's still out for the Dodgers. Alvarez inactive for the Mets. New York's gone 63% to the under in Flushing, Queens. Meanwhile, LA's currently 16-9 to the under as the road team. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, under 8 in Game 1. Next contest, Red Sox, Orioles, 635 East. Baltimore's minus 165, totals 8 runs. Grayson Rodriguez for Baltimore, Brian Bayo for Boston. Now, Bayo's 5-2 with a 1.16 whip. And these Boston pitchers, well, you know, I forget what I'm saying. These Boston pitchers have been tough to hit against when they travel. They're allowing fewer runs a game on the road than any other staff in the bigs. And they're facing a Baltimore club who isn't overly, patient at the plate. The O's walk fewer times a game at home than any other roster in baseball. Cedric Mullins has an on-base, an OPS actually, just in the 500s. He's yet to record double-digit walks at the plate. Meanwhile, Anthony Santander's hitting a measly .201. And as good as Baltimore's played for starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, the righty has seen his whip creep up to a 1.33 recently. Now, injury-wise, Yoshida is still out for Boston. When it comes to the total, 5 out of Boston's last 7 road games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Baltimore went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Give me the Red Sox plus 1.5, over 8. Next game, Pirates-Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Detroit's minus $1.55, total 7. Tark Skubal for the Tigers, Jared Jones for the Pirates. And as good as Jones has been on the mound for Pittsburgh, the Bucs just don't want to win for him. The righty comes into today's game with a losing 3-4 record on the year. And a lot of that has to do with this Pittsburgh lineup of hitters. These guys are having all kinds of problems making contact. The Pirates are striking out more times a game on the road than any other team in the National League. Jack Sawinski, he's hitting just a $174. Triolo just 203. And they could have their hands full here today with Tarek Skubal on the hill. The lefty's 6-1 for the Tigers this year, and he has an ERA of 2.25. And of course, strikeouts are up for the lefty as well. He's punched out 72 batters in just 60 innings of work, and that means he's got himself an impressive .85 whip. Now, 4 out of Detroit's last 6 interleague home games fell under the total. They also held Pittsburgh to just 3.8 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Give me Detroit -155, under 7. Next game, Cardinals-Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Cincinnati's $1.35, totals 9.5. Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati, Kyle Gibson for St. Louis. And Gibby's had some strong innings, for the Redbirds this year. He's got an ERA in the 3s after 59 innings of work. Recorded just 2 losses thus far as well. And I'll tell you what, these St. Louis pitchers have shown some excellent control. They're walking only 2.8 batters a game. They're facing a Cincy lineup who struggles to get base runners. These guys average fewer hits per 9 than any other roster besides one. Benson's batting .194, Espinal just a $1.95. And because of these poor plate appearances for Cincy, their starting pitcher Andrew Abbott has a losing 3-4 record. Now, injury-wise, Friedel is still out for Cincinnati, and Encarnacion Strand's also questionable. Meanwhile, for St. Louis on the other side, Wilson Contreras is still banged up for them. Now, 4 out of Cincy's last 7 contests at the Great American Ballpark did fall under the total. They also went 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Redbirds, plus $1.15. That's the Cardinals. Plus $1.15, under 9.5. Next contest, A's-Rays, 6:50 p.m. East. Tampa Bay's minus $1.65, total 7.5. Zach Littell for Tampa Bay, Mitch Spence for Oakland. And Spence does come into today's game with a 3-2 record on this season. And these Oakland pitchers have shown some decent control on the road. They're walking just 2.5 batters a game in their travels. And they're facing a Tampa squad who struggles rounding the bases. Tampa's a bottom 5 run-scoring team in the American League. Randy Rosarena's batting .156. Jose Siri just $1.68. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, I'm really not sure there's a team out there who's been worse at home. The Rays are covering in just 35% of their contests at the Trop. Now, injury-wise, Josh Lowe's out for the Rays. Ruiz inactive for Oakland. 3 out of Oakland's last 4 road games did fall under the total. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the A's plus 1.5, under 7.5. Next ball game, Nationals Braves, 7:20 p.m. East. Atlanta's minus 260, totals 8.5. Max Fried for Atlanta, Jake Irvin for Washington. And as good as Irvin's been, well, the Nats just don't want to win for the guy. He's just 2-5 on this season. I think a lot of that has to do with poor run production. The Nats are actually a bottom 5 hit-producing team on the road. And they're going to face Max Fried, who's recorded only 2 losses in 58-plus innings. The lefty's actually got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.06 whip. And even if the game, gets away from them, the Braves, their hitters, well, they love to hit the baseball at Truist Park. They're averaging the 2nd most home hits per game in the majors. Marcell Ozuna has the 2nd most RBI in the majors, OPS of 998. Of course, Matt Olson's 2nd on the roster in home runs. Now, out of Atlanta's last 10 contests against Washington, they've really knocked around these Nationals pitchers. Atlanta's averaged over 6.1 runs a game during that time span. 3 out of the Braves' last 4 home games did get over the total. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, Washington saw 3 out of their last 4 road games get over the total themselves. Give me the Braves -1.5 over 8.5. Next game, Cubs-Brewers, 7:40 Eastern start time. Milwaukee's -150, totals 8 runs. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Ben Brown for Chicago. And I'll tell you, how about that Milwaukee crowd booing the shit out of Craig Counsell in his return? He was chuckling about it in the dugout. But man, you know, after what was it, 9 strong seasons? I don't know if I say strong, but 9 good seasons made these guys competitive, gave them chances to win, took them into the postseason. Yeah, that was a rough return for Counsell. I thought it was hilarious. I think, who was it? Brian Kenny and Joe Madden on MLB Network, they did not like the fact that he got booed. But anyway, what were we talking about? Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Ben Brown for Chicago. And as good as Benny Brown's been, well, he's got only 1 win on his record to show for it. And unfortunately, even if he has a good showing here today, the Cubs have definitely had their issues at the plate. These guys are a bottom 5 hit producing lineup in the National League. And they could have problems with Freddie Peralta here today. Strikeouts are definitely up this year for the righty. He's fanned 71 batters in just 56-plus innings. He's also got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.08 whip. He's also backed by one of the best run-producing lineups in the game. As a matter of fact, Milwaukee averages the 2nd most hits per contest in the box. William Contreras, he has an OPS in the 900s, 5th in the big leagues in both batting average and RBI. And Christian Yelich, he's batting .338. Now, 5 out of Milwaukee's last 8 divisional home games got over the total. Meanwhile, Chicago went 4-2 to the over in their last 6 road games against the NL Central. Give me the Brewers -$1.50 over 8 runs. Next contest, Royals-Twins, 7:40 Eastern first pitch. Kansas City's -$1.25 on the road here, total 7.5. Cole Reagans for the Royals, S.W. Richardson for Minnesota. And Richardson has been a solid addition to this rotation. He's yet to record a loss in 35 innings of work. He's currently got himself an ERA in the 2s along with a 1.11 whip. And I'll tell you what, these Minnesota pitchers have been tough to hit against at Target Field. As a matter of fact, they lead the majors right now in strikeouts per 9 at home. And they're facing a Kansas City squad who struggles getting base runners on the road. KC's in the bottom 5 in walks per 9 at the plate. And they're also, a bottom 5 hit producing team on the road in the American League. Hunter Renfroe, he's batting just .163. Melendez just $1.79. Now, injury-wise, Michael Massey's out for the Royals. Royce Lewis inactive for Minnesota. 3 out of the Twins' last 4 at home did stay under the total. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me Minnesota +105, under 7.5. All right, next game, Dodgers-Mets game 2. That'll also be a 7:40 Eastern start time. The Dodgers are -$1.50 in game 2, totals 8.5. Gavin Stone for the Dodgers, Jose Quintana for New York. Now, Quincy's just 1-4 in the year with an ERA in the 5s. And even if he does have a good showing here today, he's probably not going to get much run support. The Mets are currently the worst hit-producing team at home in the major leagues. And they're going to face Gavin Stone, who's 4-2 with an ERA of .360. And once again, the Dodgers are definitely a hit-producing lineup. They're a hit factory. Give me the Dodgers -150 over 8.5 in Game 2. Next contest, it is going to be Blue Jays taking on the White Sox. And that is going to be a 7:40 Eastern start time. Toronto's minus 225, total 7.5. Kevin Gausman for Toronto, Mike Clevinger for Chicago. And even though Clevinger stinks, well, the White Sox have still held their own with regard to the run line recently. They actually have a winning record against the run line at home this year. They're facing a Toronto squad who struggles at the dish themselves. I know Chicago's bad at the plate, but, Toronto's having some problems in the box as well. The Blue Jays are in the bottom 5 in hits per game on the road. George Springer bats just 196. Varsho's got the most strikeouts. And, of course, on the mound, Kevin Gausman, he has not been stellar for Toronto. Gausman's got an ERA of 4.47, 1.43 whip. And in their travels, these, Toronto pitchers have had a tough time getting outs. They're in the bottom 10 in runs allowed per game on the road. Now, injury-wise, Jimenez, Robert, and Ramos are out for the White Sox. 3 out of Chicago's last 5 home games did fall under the total. Meanwhile, Toronto saw 3 out of their last 5 on the road stay under the line themselves. Give the White Sox plus 1.5, under 7.5. Next matchup, D-backs, Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Arizona's minus $1.20, totals 8.5. Brandon Pfaadt for the D-backs, Dane Dunning for Texas. Now, Dunning does have himself an ERA of 4.43. Does not have a winning record on the year. But even if he does throw well here today, these Ranger batters are actually having a tough time producing runs at Globe Life Field. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the American League in runs per contest in their own building. And they're facing Brandon Pfaadt, who struck out 58 batters and has a 1.08 whip. Now, Pfaadt's also backed by a dangerous lineup of hitters. The D-backs are a top 10 run-producing team. Jock Peterson hits .303 with an OPS in the 900s. And Ketel Marte leads the roster in home runs and hits. Now, injury-wise, Perdomo and Thomas are still out for the Diamondbacks. Langford still inactive for Texas. Give me Arizona minus $1.20, over 8.5. Next game, Guardians, Rockies, 8:40 p.m. East. Cleveland's minus $1.40, totals 10.5. Tristan McKenzie for the Guardians, Ryan Feltner for Colorado. And Feltner has not been good. He's 1-4 on this season with an ERA in the 5s. The Rockies are also striking out more times a game at home than any other lineup in the National League. And they're going to face Tristan McKenzie, who's got an ERA of 3.44. He's also backed by the best run-producing lineup in the American League at the moment. Jose Ramirez has a league-best 54 runs batted in. David Fry's batting .344 with an OPS in the thousands. Now, injury-wise, Stephen Kwan's still out for Cleveland. Nolan Jones inactive for Colorado. When it comes to the total, 6 out of the Rockies' last 10 games did get over the number. Meanwhile, Cleveland went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Guardians minus 140, over 10.5. Next game, Yankees, Angels, 9:38 East. New York's $1.70, totals 9. Nestor Cortez for New York, Griffin Canning for Los Angeles. And Canning's definitely had his difficulties. He's 2-4 with an ERA in the 5s. And these Angel hitters are averaging nearly double-digit strikeouts a game at home. Mickey Moniak bats just 179. Joe Adell only 221. And they're taking on Nestor Cortez, who's got 63 strikeouts himself, along with a 1.07 whip. And this Yankee pitching staff, as a whole, they've been completely dominant this year. They allow fewer runs a game than any other team in the league. Now, injury-wise for the Angels, Sano, Drury, and Adrianza are still out. When it comes to the total, the Yankees are 14-6 the under against the American League on the road. Give me the Pinstripers minus 170, under 9. Next contest, Astros-Mariners, 9:40 Eastern start time. Seattle's minus $1.30, total 7.5. Luis Castillo for the M's, Hunter Brown for Houston. And Brown's just 1-5 with an ERA in the 7s. And these Houston Sluggers have certainly had their problems away from Minute Maid Park. They're in the bottom 10 in runs per game on the road. Alex Bregman bats just 206. OPS in the 500s. And Yordan Alvarez, well, he has the most strikeouts in the lineup, and he's yet to reach double-digit homers. And they're going to have to face Luis Castillo, who's got 69 strikeouts and an ERA in the 3s. And I'll tell you what, these Seattle pitchers have been insanely tough to hit against in their own building. They're allowing just 6.3 hits a game at T-Mobile Park. That is a league low. The M's are 60% to the under against the AL West. Meanwhile, Houston saw 5 out of their last 8 divisional road games stay under the total themselves. Give me the Mariners minus 130, under 7.5. Next game, Marlins-Padres, 9:40 East. San Diego's minus 130, total 7. Matt Waldron for San Diego. Jesus Luzardo for the Marlins. And Luzardo's definitely given these guys opportunities to win. He's averaging over a strikeout an inning, 1.09 whip. And of course, as a team, the Fish have been absolute covering machines, at least recently. They cashed in on the run line in their last 4 straight on the road. And out of their last 10 contests at any location, they covered the number in 80% of those games. And they're facing a Padres team who failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 at Petco Park. And out of 30 total contests on their own field, San Diego's covered in just 30% of those games. And a lot of that has to do with poor plate appearances. The Friars are a bottom 5 run producing team on their own diamond. Ha-Seong Kim hits just .217. Fernando Tatis has the most strikeouts. And even if they do hit it well here today, they may not get support from their starting pitcher. Matt Waldron's just 2-5 on the year with an ERA close to 5. Now, injury-wise, Xander Bogaerts is still out for the Padres. Garcia inactive for Miami. Give me the Marlins plus $1.10, over 7. Next and final matchup, Phillies-Giants, 9:45 East. Philadelphia's the $2.15 favorite, total 7.5. Zach Wheeler for the Titans. Tommy Romero making his season debut for the Giants. And Romero looked great in AAA Sacramento this year. He was 3-0 in 11 appearances. ERA of 2.11 in the minors. And the Giants have certainly taken care of business over the past couple of weeks. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10. They've now got a win percentage of .615 in their own stadium. They're facing a Phillies team on the other side who's struggled a bit on the West Coast here recently. They lost 3 out of their last 4 games. And they failed to cash in on the run line in all of those contests except for 1. Nick Castellanos batting just .198 this year. Kyle Schwarber struck out 71 times. When it comes to the injury list, Turner's out for the Titans. Ahmed inactive for San Francisco. The Giants are 63% to the under in front of their own fans. Philadelphia went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Giants plus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, under 8 in Game 1. Red Sox plus 1.5, over 8 runs. And if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the side or the total in the Mavericks T-Wolves game this evening, I'm 3-0, my last 3 NBA tier package picks on my premium site. Tigers minus 155, under 7. Cardinals plus $1.15, under 9.5. Oakland plus 1.5, under 7.5. Atlanta minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Brewers minus 150, over 8. Minnesota plus 105, under 7.5. Dodgers minus 150, over 8.5 in Game 2. White Sox plus 1.5, under 7.5. Arizona minus 120, over 8.5. Guardians minus 140, over 10.5. Yankees minus $1.70, under 9. Mariners minus 130, under 7.5. Marlins plus $1.10, over 7. Give me the Giants plus 1.5, under 7.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. If you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. I love producing free content. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.